It is my great pleasure and honor to declare open the 79th regular session of the General Assembly and call to order its first plenary meeting. In accordance with Rule 62 of the Rules of Procedure of the General Assembly, I invite representatives to stand and observe 1 minute of silent prayer or meditation. His Excellency, Mr. Dennis Francis, President of the General Assembly for the 78th session, Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to stand before you as the President of the General Assembly for its 79th session, and I am humbled and grateful that the membership has entrusted me with this immense responsibility. My sincere thanks also go to President Francis, under whose leadership the General Assembly navigated a year filled with great challenges and uncertainty, guided by his watchwords of peace, progress, prosperity, and sustainability. I express my deep appreciation and gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, President of the Republic of Cameroon. I accept this distinctive honor as a testament of our shared aspirations for a better world. Our world faces numerous challenges. Climate change is devastating the planet and endangering countless lives and societies. Conflicts and armed violence rage on from Sudan to Haiti, from Ukraine to the Gaza Strip, leaving trails of death, destruction, and wanton misery worldwide. Suffering caused by poverty and hunger continues to linger. Prejudice and hate, often amplified by new digital tools that bring opportunities but also risk, continue to fuel tensions and strife. The list expands, sowing doubt about our collective capacity to come together for the common good. Dear friends, we must meet these doubts with a clarion call to action, drawing inspiration from the Charter of the United Nations and the principles of international cooperation. We must demonstrate that international cooperation remains the most effective tool at our disposal for addressing the profound and borderless issues we confront. Cooperation among member states is what allows us to harness our collective resources and ingenuity to realize humanity's greatest aspirations, such as peace, justice, and sustainable development among them. The General Assembly, with its near universal membership of 193 member states, stands as our most powerful platform to fully seize its promise. Let us recommit to the 8 billion people in every corner of the world that this august body can and will meet their hopes for a brighter future. The opportunities to do so are immense, especially amid the revolutions in technology, equipping us with powerful new tools to accelerate progress. It is up to us to ensure that the benefits of international cooperation are shared regularly and equitably, leaving no one behind. Excellencies, as we get ready to seize the opportunities together, allow me to outline the vision that will guide us through my tenure. The cornerstone of my presidency will be built on the principles of unity in diversity, fostering an environment where every voice is not only heard, but valued. We will pursue the advancement of peace, ensuring that our efforts towards conflict resolution are both proactive and enduring. Sustainable development will be a key focus as we strive to balance equitable economic growth with environmental governance. And underlying our efforts will be a thorough and uncompromising commitment to human dignity for everyone, everywhere. Hailing from a country with more than 250 national languages and 2 official languages, English and French, I am committed to prioritizing multilingualism in the General Assembly's work. I believe that the Assembly mirrors the richness of peoples and nations, and that linguistic diversity is part of our common language of equality, understanding, and mutual respect. The same holds true for gender equality and women's empowerment, a fundamental expression of our commitment to human dignity and a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. All the data show that when women fully participate, societies win. Therefore, all my actions and efforts will incorporate a gender perspective and strive to achieve gender equality. I encourage member states to not just likewise increase the number of women in their delegations to the United Nations, but also mainstream a gender perspective in their policies and programs back home. With these principles, we will pursue priorities extracted from meaningful discussions with member states to deliver solutions across the work of the General Assembly. First, on sustainable economic growth, it is imperative that we explore strategies that foster growth while ensuring sustainability and equity. This includes championing innovation, supporting green economies, and ensuring that the benefits of economic development are accessible to all nations, large and small. Second, peace and security will continue to be of paramount importance. Prioritizing conflict prevention rather than resorting to weapons to settle our differences will help in reducing the current high military expenditures which complicate the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. We must invest in all efforts to decrease tensions and instead build trust around the world. The tensions and the continuing deficit of trust are minimizing our common search for the best ways and means to eliminate nuclear weapons on the face of the earth. We will thus seek to build an effective peace operations and conflict resolution strategies, emphasizing the need for a concerted and unified approach to resolving conflicts and preventing new ones. This is why I will urge the Assembly to intensify its determination to prioritize the resolution of conflicts, including the intractable ones in the Gaza Strip, Haiti, and Ukraine, as well as find durable solutions to the situation in the Great Lakes region and elsewhere in Africa. Third, human rights will remain at the core of our agenda. The General Assembly will continue to advocate for the protection and promotion of human rights, ensuring that the dignity of all individuals is upheld worldwide. We will also seek to enhance coordination of humanitarian efforts, ensuring that our response to crisis is timely and efficient, and that aid reaches those most in need. Fourth, the strengthening of international law and justice frameworks will be a key topic of our deliberations in all fields relevant to the work of the Assembly. These discussions will aim to support the creation of safer environments and, crucially, the upholding of international norms. Lastly, we will address the pervasive challenges of international terrorism, drug and human trafficking, and modern slavery. We indeed intend to uphold human dignity in all its contours and manifestations. By enhancing international cooperation and understanding of the underlying causes of these phenomena, we will aim to forge strategies that promote global security and peace. As President of the General Assembly, I am committed to facilitating these discussions and harnessing our collective will and expertise to deliver significant solutions. Excellencies, to keep our focus sharp, we must build upon the momentum of the Summit of the Future and inject new vigor into achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the cornerstone of our mission. As we work to safeguard the future of peoples and planet, special attention will be given to least developed countries, landlocked developing countries, and small island developing states, which face unique structural weaknesses that hamper their sustainable development. Additionally, our efforts will concentrate on Africa. We will continue to support Agenda 2063, spearheaded by the African Union, which envisions a transformed continent thriving through sustainable trade and development. Throughout, I will prioritize initiatives to empower young people, including in Africa, where by 2035, more young people will enter the workforce each year than in the rest of the world. Excellencies, rest assured, I remain committed to carrying out the mandates of this Assembly with determined focus on the following: the reform of the Security Council, the revitalization of the General Assembly, the Social Summit 2025, the Fourth International Conference on Financing for Development, United Nations Conference in support of Sustainable Development Goal 14, the Fourth High-Level Conference on Communicable Diseases, and the implementation of the Pact of the Future to be adopted soon. Let us advance these priorities with a collaborative spirit, ensuring that the United Nations continues to serve as a beacon of hope and a source of solutions for the global community. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my commitment to you and to all peoples represented within the General Assembly is to hold the highest standards of integrity and professionalism in every aspect of my duties. The oath I took today is not a formality. It is a solemn vow to serve with honesty, impartiality, and an unyielding dedication to the Charter and principles of the United Nations. It is my earnest hope that through unity, we can innovate and implement strong, inclusive solutions that address the pressing issues facing our global community. By fostering an environment where diverse perspectives are acknowledged and integrated into our decision-making, we set ourselves up for success. In pursuing our shared goals, my approach will be collaborative and consultative. We deeply believe in the power of dialogue and the necessity of listening to all voices, ensuring that every member state is heard and valued. To this end, I will work tirelessly to not only fulfill the promise of our aspirations, but to exceed them. The challenges are complex, but shared commitment and mutual respect, we can overcome them. Thank you. Egypt is asking for a point of order. I give the floor to the representative of Egypt.
Honorable President, Honorable SG, congratulating you, President, on the assumption of your duties. I hate that my first intervention is on a point of order, but I kindly request that you confirm that the necessary arrangements have been made in accordance with UNGA Resolution ES 10/23 of May 10th, 2024, and the additional rights and privileges granted to the State of Palestine therein, that the State of Palestine can now enjoy its right to be seated among member states of the General Assembly in alphabetical order. Mr. Honorable President, this is not merely a procedural matter. This is a historic moment for us. The State of Palestine should be seated in the General Assembly among member states, full members. This is history in the making. For 140 or more than that of us, the State of Palestine possesses all the legal elements of a state. I ask you, Honorable President, to confirm that this clause of Resolution ES 10/23 has come into force as of today, being the first plenary of UNGA 79 session, and I request you to confirm with the Secretariat that His Excellency Ambassador Riyad Mansour, the distinguished permanent representative of the State of Palestine, is seated among the member states accordingly. Thank you, Honorable President.
I thank the representative of Egypt. I have been informed that all arrangements have been made to have Palestine seated where it's supposed to sit. Thank you very much. I now give the floor to the Secretary General of the United Nations, His Excellency Antonio Guterres.
Mr. President of the 79th session of the General Assembly, Your Excellency Philemon Yang of Cameroon, congratulations. You bring to this vital task a wealth of experience, including your years as Prime Minister of Cameroon, that I had the privilege to greet in your country, but also as a diplomat and public servant, as a proud African. I commend your vision statement's focus on key priorities such as finance and science and technology, which are all critical to global progress. Mr. President, I pledge my full support as you unite our diverse membership around common goals and solutions. And I once again thank the outgoing Presidency, His Excellency Denis Francis, for his stewardship of this Assembly over the last year. Excellencies, as we open this 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly, we confront a world in trouble. But the good news is that we can do something about it. From day one, the United Nations has been the place for multilateral solutions grounded in collaboration, dialogue, diplomacy, and the United Nations Charter. And it has been the place where respect for one another and for the dignity and human rights that belong to every member of the human family are brought to life. As we welcome this 79th session, these tasks now fall to you. This is the place where solutions are made, and we need solutions across the board. Solutions to bring the Sustainable Development Goals back to life and end poverty and inequality. Solutions to spur economic progress and job creation for all, especially women and young people. Solutions to bridge the political divides and end the conflicts that are causing so much death and suffering. Solutions to end the climate catastrophe that is killing our own and only home. And solutions to summon the financing that developing countries need to invest in the future of their people. Solutions that give all countries a voice in global institutions of finance, peace and security. And solutions to ensure that groundbreaking technologies like artificial intelligence are a boon, not a barrier, to human progress and equality. Step by step, solution by solution, we can rebuild trust and faith in one another and in what we can accomplish through collaboration and solidarity. Mr. President, Excellencies, the values that have brought us together since 1945 are more essential than ever. In confronting the challenges before us, the United Nations General Assembly remains an indispensable tool and a vital pathway towards a peaceful and just future for all people. Let us renew our commitment to that future, and let's get there together. Thank you.
I thank the Secretary General. Israel has asked for a point of order, and I will give the floor to the representative of Israel.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, my delegation and the State of Israel wish you every success as you assume your position, and we are confident that you will lead a successful session in what is a critical moment in history, considering the multiple challenges that we all face. We also wish to thank the outgoing President for his leadership and guidance throughout the previous session. Mr. President, I am exercising my right to reply to the point of order raised by the Egyptian delegation, which related directly to General Assembly Resolution ARES/ES1023, adopted on the 10th of May 2024. We wish to express our deep concern that this decision is motivated by political favoritism rather than actual respect and consideration for the United Nations Charter. The United Nations was established in the wake of 2 world wars and the horrors of the Holocaust as an organization of states with a primary role of promoting and maintaining international peace. Consequently, UN membership and the accorded privileges are specifically reserved for sovereign states. Has the Organization of the United Nations in the meantime amended its charter and opened the doors for non-state territorial entities to join the highest level of international decision-making, even without fulfilling the basic conditions of statehood? The jura limitations described in the annex of the ES 10/23 resolution are de facto useless, as we embark on this new era of the United Nations where non-state entities act as UN member states. Mr. President, any decision and or action that improves the status of the Palestinians, either in the UN General Assembly or bilaterally, is currently a reward and incentive for terrorism in general, and the Hamas terrorists in particular, who welcome these steps and credit them to the massacre they committed and the war they initiated. The Palestinian Authority, which refrains from condemning the massacre and abduction of civilians from their homes on October 7th, does not deserve recognition and upgrading of its status. These decisions reward terrorism and seriously impair the possibility of reaching a solution to the conflict and resolve matters through peaceful negotiations. And they also make it even more difficult to bring about the return of the 101 hostages, further distancing the end of the war. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Israel for his statement. Next, I would like, in keeping with established practice, to invite the attention of the General Assembly to document A/79/338. It contains a letter from the Secretary General addressed to the President of the General Assembly, in which he informs the Assembly of Member States in arrears in the payment of their financial contributions to the United Nations within Articles 19 of the Charter. I would like to remind delegations that under Article 19 of the Charter, and I quote, "A member of the United Nations which is in arrears in the payment of his financial contributions to the organization shall have no vote in the General Assembly if the amount of his arrears equals or exceeds the amount of the contributions due from it for the preceding 2 full years. The General Assembly may, nevertheless, permit such a member to vote if it is satisfied that the failure to pay is due to conditions beyond the control of the member. May I therefore take it that the General Assembly takes note of the information contained in document A/79/338? It is so decided. I would now invite the General Assembly to turn to the appointment of the members of the Credentials Committee. Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure provides that the General Assembly at the beginning of each session shall appoint, on the proposal of the President, a Credentials Committee consisting of 9 members. Accordingly, it is proposed that for the 79th session, the Credentials Committee should consist of the following member states: Antigua and Barbuda, Cabo Verde, China, Dominica, Lao People's Democratic Republic, Liberia, Monaco, Russian Federation, and United States of America. May I take it that these states that I have just mentioned are hereby appointed members of the Credentials Committee? It is so decided. Delegations are reminded that credentials should be submitted to the Office of Legal Affairs. Additional details are available in the information note issued as A/INF/79/4. The Assembly will now turn its attention to document A/79/335, containing a letter dated 3 September 2024 from the Chair of the Committee on Conferences, addressed to the President of the General Assembly. Members are aware that pursuant to Section 1, Paragraph 7 of Assembly Resolution 40/243 of 18 December 1985, no subsidiary organ of the General Assembly should be permitted to meet at United Nations headquarters during the main part of a regular session of the Assembly unless explicitly authorized by the Assembly. In this connection, authorization is sought for the following entities: Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People, Executive Board of the United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, Group of Governmental Experts on the Continuing Operations of the United Nations Register of Conventional Arms, Conference on the Establishment of a Middle East Zone free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction, Committee on Relations with the Host Country, Open-Ended Working Group on Security of and in the Use of Information and Communications Technologies 2021 to 2025, Independent Audit Advisory Committee, Working Group of the Whole of the Special Committee on Peacekeeping Operations, and Meeting of States Parties to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. May I take it that it is the wish of the General Assembly to authorize these organs to meet during the main part of the 79th session of the General Assembly on the strict understanding that all such meetings would be allocated conference services on an if available basis from within existing resources in such a way as to ensure that the work of the General Assembly and its main committees is not impeded. It is so decided. Before concluding, I would like to inform delegations that the General Committee will meet tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 11th September 2024 at 10 a.m. in the Trusteeship Council chamber to consider the memorandum of the Secretary General on the organization of the 79th session of the General Assembly, adoption of the agenda and allocating of items issued as A/BUR/79/1. The first plenary meeting of the General Assembly at the 79th session is now concluded. The meeting is adjourned.
that they're going to